Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Thanks for asking.
Oh, sure. You were my college teacher, and I was an online student, but now we're meeting for the first time for an
That's right.
amazing discussion, right?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah, it seems like just a couple of months ago that you were in class.
Oh yeah, I wish. It was so good. I have all the good memories of being on campus and at Full Sail, and also like learning online was also more challenging and rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. It can be tough online.
Yeah, I can. So, did you catch up with Back to the Future?
Unfortunately, I did not. I have not been able to. I'm teaching overload this month, and so what that means is I have twice as many students as I normally do, and so I haven't had the opportunity to watch it.
Well, so can you access your memories from 30 years ago?
I'll try. I remember some of it. Fun fact: I've actually been to where they filmed the studio where they filmed Back to the Future, and the courtyard. Yeah, where they had the clock with the lightning and everything. I've been on that location.
Oh, and how did it feel?
It was kind of cool. It was pretty cool to see where they actually made where they made the movie and that kind of thing. I'm not a movie guy, so I'm a comic guy. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool to be there and see it all.
Yeah, speaking of comics, I was getting an art test for my company that's called Your Life in Fiction,
Right.
with some of the pages of the comics that I did in your class.
Oh, nice. Very
Yes,
cool.
yes.
So
I can't even show you, like, send you, like, how it is.
yeah, that would be very cool. So is this a story that you started working on in the class and you're just continuing it now, or?
No, no, it was like your class was one of the hardest one because like I try to meet the deadline and make everything out of something that I had no idea what it was, because like one thing is for you to write a novel or a script or something like that, because
Right.
like I have experience with that. But comics is very challenging, because like
Yeah.
I had never had an experience like that. So I remember my hands were shaking at times, like I gotta finish this, but
Oh
I did.
no.
Like I have a lot of pages that I wrote.
Very cool. That's good. I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? You got to start at the beginning.
Yeah, I personally love comics. Like last week I bought like my childhood favorite comics, and
Which
I don't know if
is
um I don't know if you heard of Monica's Game.
mm-mm,
Yeah,
no.
it's a Brazilian one, and they tried to make it international, but I guess it didn't work. So yeah, I did a preview of like how I would talk about the film Back to the Future, and maybe we can go over it together. I presented it earlier tonight, but I was just more like stating facts and this and that. So we don't have to like super extend our recording, but
Okay.
maybe we can focus on those aspects that I put together.
Okay. I'll do my
Okay.
best.
Okay. So first thing, like there's a time continuum, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
it is explained in the movie, especially by Doc Brown. Like he gets really upset that Marty has messed with the time continuum. Do you
Right.
remember anything about the time continuum?
Yeah, I just remember that he messed it up so that he affected the future when he went back to it.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
Yes. And one of the mistakes he did was to make his mother fall in love with him, because like he was like in the right moment that his father should have been, which was a little car accident,
Right.
collision, and he was there. So his father wasn't, and he was the one that the mother took care of, and she was young, and they were the same age. So she was like, "Wow!" And that's where the creative like Calvin Klein name came from.
Yeah, yeah, and of course he was different. He was exotic because he was a man out of time, and so there was just something appealing about him to her.
Yes, no, super. That's correct. Um, and what I could say also is that what he learned with the time continuum is that like he had to get his mother out of the situation of being in love with him. So
Right,
he had to make sure that their parents shared the first kiss, which was when they fell in love for the first time at like that dance under the sea and stuff like that. So first his father needed to beat Biff, because
right,
Biff has always been like an opponent, right? And he was
right.
interested in his mother. So the father went there and he, punched him in the face. And that's when she was like, wow. And she kind of like started taking him seriously, and Marty had to go back and forth. And then there was even a time in the movie, like I kind of forgot about that, just remembered that there were two Martys at the same
Mhm.
location. Do you remember that?
I remember vaguely, and of course, because he's from the past, or he's from the future, being in the past, so that there is the Marty there, right? So
Oh,
yeah,
yes. Yes, that explains. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I was like, how did so many Martys get together, And I was wondering, but maybe I should have asked you.
well, I don't know about that. That's just what I remember, what I seem to recall, and I don't know if that's the way it actually was or not.
Oh, but that's the kind of movie, like the last time I watched it was like over a decade ago, and I still
Yeah,
remember it. What I did was just like watch a recap. Um, recently in order to remember the timeline. But other than
yeah,
that, like I haven't watched the movie in 10 years, you know. And there's someone on Instagram that he's like crazy about Back to the Future, and I
really.
tagged him on my little chat, Uh, and he says like, "No, you gotta watch it 24/7 for you to finally grasp it." And I was like, "Oh, I'm way behind then."
Yeah. Oh,
It was funny. And so yeah, so we have that situation, and then finally we transition into Hell Valley, which is where Hill Valley was turned into Hell Valley because Biff was ruling it, and we all know that Biff got there because he had the almanac with all the answers of future bets, and he
right,
plans there in the past to put it in his pocket and went reading out through the future to become the most powerful man in the city. And I don't know, like he even married Marty's mother, which would contribute to the fact of him disappearing too.
right.
Um, but like I found a lot of loopholes. Like maybe you could try to enlighten that. First loophole that I found was that on Back to the Future 3, at the end, um, Doc Brown comes in a train, with his wife and kids from like decades ago, and they look young, they look fine, they look normal, and he talks to McFly, And when he talks to McFly, he says, "Oh no, time traveling is not necessary. Your happiness is here and right now." And then he leaves on the train, like right time traveling. So I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. uh, well, time. To me, time travel stories are a lot of fun because uh, you can all. There's always from my perspective, there's always the what if. It's like, well, what if this happened, or what if this happened, or what if I could change this thing? How would it affect the stuff that comes after that, right? And of course, I'm a big fan of uh, alternate histories. For literature, alternate histories, big fan of that. A lot of those are historical based. What if Hitler had been killed or something like that. Um, and those are often fun to kind of extrapolate out to see. Okay, well, this happened. What would have happened after that? And I
Do
think I
you?
think that's what Back to the Future is.
Yes, yes, you're correct. And I think that was like kind of what I had in mind, but I'm gonna keep talking to you because we can talk about other subjects.
Okay.
So do you have like as a recollection any movie that's similar to any sorry book that's similar to Back to the Future, in which there's a young guy who's trying to win over a girl from the past or vice versa?
Um. Hmm. What was the name of that romantic movie with Christopher Reeves, in which he did the time traveling? Christopher.
Oh, is it the one with there that she's in the painting?
I don't remember that. And there's Adeline, the with Harrison Ford and Blake Lively.
Let me write that down. You said Adeline.
I think that was the name of it. Somewhere in Time.
Yes,
Um,
Somewhere in Time. I know that movie.
yeah,
But they don't stay together in the end. It's a tragedy. Oops, I just gave spoilers.
yeah. That's okay. It's an old movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
nobody's really gonna watch it.
1980. Yeah, no. Uh,
Adeline. Yeah, that's cool. I remember being in a class. I forgot which teacher it was. Um and I saw like if you like ambiguity, watch Total Recall. And then he told me like, "Oh, Deborah, you like X movie a lot, so maybe you're gonna like this one." Like, do
yeah.
you know any movies that have like ambiguity?
Uh, what word? What are you saying?
Like,
Ambiguity?
Total Recall, that movie that now has Colin Farrell in it, and he goes inside a place and it puts something on his head, and
Yeah,
then
I know the Arnold Schwarzenegger version, but I haven't seen Colin Farrell.
oh, that's really good. I
Yeah,
recommend it, and it won't ruin the original one.
yeah.
So,
And of course, that's based on a Philip K. Dick story. Um,
yes,
hmm
I
who's a
like
fantastic.
futuristic stories.
Yeah. Of course, there's also the Philip K. Dick. We talk time and alternate realities. There's the Philip K. Dick story, "The Man in the High Castle," which they did a series about, or a
The
series of,
man, I'm
in the
writing
High
it all
Castle.
now. In the
Yeah,
High Castle.
yeah. I read that book in college, and then they did a show. I think it was on
Oh,
Amazon or something here a couple of years ago.
yeah. Um, I like these kind of movies about alternate realities.
Yeah,
Because I'm a very imaginative girl, and I am also like someone who has this company, Your Life in Fiction, and I direct all the art there. So the more like alternate the reality
yeah,
is, the better it is to expand my creativity. So Personally, I like it, and
Yeah.
professionally, I like it too.
Yeah. Harry Turtledove writes a lot of science fiction novels that have alternate histories. I can't remember the name of it, but he wrote one in which at the beginning of World War II, aliens invade the planet, and so the Allies and the Axis. So we have to team up with Germany, with the Nazis, in order to fight the aliens. And that's pretty interesting to see, because we always think of ourselves as fighting the against the Nazis, but we team up with them in order to defeat the aliens. Um, he also wrote a series that I really like called um, oh shoot. Once again, I can't remember the title. It's a series of it in which the Confederate States of America won their bid for independence in the American Civil War. So they won, and then there was a second American Civil War um, about 20 years later, and that put the and so what he did, and I think it was a series of about 4 or 5 books. So what he did, because the South had won that first time, then there was a second war, and then in World War I, he had the United States against the southern states while Europe was fighting, and then he did the same thing in World War II. So he just kind of took that and extrapolated forward. Um, there was another one
Wow.
called there was another one called The Two Georges, in which and it's really kind of a mystery slash detective story
Mhm.
in which the Two Georges was a painting of George Washington shaking hands with King George. And the American Revolution as a war never happened, right? They shook hands and made an agreement, and the United States, right, remained a British colony. So as the U.S. expanded west, it remained a British colony, and the story was really someone had stolen the painting of the Two Georges, and
Mhm.
that was good because the whole world as we know it was different.
Do you still have that comic book line?
You mean my comics?
Yes.
Yeah, sure do. In fact, here's this is
Yeah, I
Orlando.
wanted to know. Yes, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's so cool. What's Trump's?
Well, Trump's is my story. It's a story of four kingdoms at war. Each the kingdoms are I can't see it backwards. Hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs. Right. Each of the suits is a kingdom, and only one suit can be the kingdom of power. And so they're all at war to see who can be the kingdom of power, and we call that kingdom Trumps. My family plays a lot of cards. We play cards all the time when we're together, and so this is kind of inspired from a bunch of the different card games that we play. So
You
yeah,
know, there are some card games that are meant for friends or, a couple to ask questions to each other.
yeah,
I have one called Friends Get Deep, if I think it's the right name. And you buy it on Amazon, and it's like huge,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
comes like with a whole deck of cards that you can talk like about anything with your friends. Like
Right.
I'm doing that online now because like I'm a little low on friends here in Sao Paulo. But I am trying to do that online.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you just have to move back up here.
I I think that's a possibility for sure because I've been wanting to go back to Orlando for a long time.
Well, good. You should. If you're
Yeah.
if you're running low on friends there, move back to Orlando. Lots of people here.
Yeah. I believe so. So you're still in Orlando or you're still in Full Sail? How's life?
Mhm. I'm still at Full Sail. I'm still teaching a comic book class. In fact, I just got out of class a little bit earlier. And I'm still teaching the comic book class. I've my overload this month is I'm teaching the comic book class and I'm teaching the children's writing class. So I teach a little bit. I teach a little bit of both of them. Um, but yeah, so it's been exciting. I still get to my thing is I still I make comics and I get to talk about them in my class. So um, that's a lot
Wow.
of fun.
So I don't remember. I don't think I would have that experience online, but I don't remember you mentioning your books. I knew that from social media and stuff,
Yeah,
but I didn't know that from studying. I think I was just more like watching how to do the assignments
yeah.
and trying to do it.
Well, I try not to make the classes about me. I try to be an open book, but I try not to. I try not to make the classes where so when you come into class, I'm always I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. I don't want that to be the class. I'm happy to talk about it, but I want students to come into the class and feel like it's a class about them learning, not about me telling them what I've done. I mean, I've written more than 100 comic books, and so I could talk about them for a long time, uh,
Yeah.
but I try not to make the class about me and more about comics. Like I said, I'm happy to talk about them because I like making comics and I like talking about them, but but yeah, as far as the classes go, I try to focus on the process of making a comic book rather than me.
Yeah, I am going to um now I am going to give you an assignment if you have the time for it. Uh you're gonna read my story so you can remember it. And you're gonna like give a feedback. It doesn't need to be like this if you don't want to, but you could just like record like something talking about the assignment overall. Because my hands were shaking, so that was pretty serious.
Well, I'm sorry to hear your hands were shaking. It's okay as I tell my kids when they were in school. I said it's okay to be nervous, but you don't want to let the nervousness control you. A little bit of nervousness, is healthy, but if it overwhelms you and controls you, then that's not good.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it was great talking to you. Here it's almost 1 a.m., so I gotta
Oh my
go.
goodness.
Yeah,
Well, it was great
I'm
talking
just
to you as well.
excited. I just said like, let's talk now, because I was
Yeah.
excited. But, it's
Well,
already
and I had
almost.
just gotten out of class, so uh,
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
that's why I'd gotten out of class, and so I'd gone over and started checking my messages, and I saw the message from you, and I'm like, well, whenever you want to do it.
Okay, so I'll share this recording with you, and I'll also post it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.